We'll go for a couple of things. There we go. Looks like we're recording. Hey, everybody. My name is Kurt Molly here with Black Box Social Media Ad Genius. And depending which way the camera goes, that is famous Charles Kirkland over here over to the side. Let me tell you how we're going to run this thing, and I'll give you an introduction to Charles and the headset pilot and all this stuff. Like, I love to poke fun at people, but you got to have mad respect for the things that Charles has done, and that is why we're interviewing him, which is awesome. So a couple of things is, Nick, I believe you're on here as well. If you have any messages or anything else, go ahead and type that into the right-hand side. You're going to see, I believe it's, Charles, if I point this way, do you see me point to the messages, or am I pointing to the Twitter when I point that way?
You're pointing to the messages, to the Twitter feed. Messages are on this side.
Messages go there. That's great.
Yes.
That's great. So messages go over here if you have any questions for Charles. If, depending on his schedule, if you take some questions towards the end, happy to do that. And on this side over here, if you find this information really valuable, make sure that you tweet this out, tell your friends as well too, for the people out on Twitter, because that's really what we're talking about today. Now, this blab itself is public only for this very short amount of time. This is actually going to go back in the membership area for people who are part of Social Media Ad Genius and, of course, the Social Media Ad Genius community inside, which you'll find out after I talk to Charles, why he's being put in the inside of the Genius section. So a couple of things here. The recording's not going to be up for the public. Once we get the recording and everything else, it's going to be back inside of our program. If you don't have access, you should only have access to that if you're here. If you don't, we'll tell you about it later. But by the way, if you hear something really smart, which you will over and over and over, hit these little high five hands right here. Like if I give Charles a bunch of them, I'm going to give him some props, right? Just to show him some love when he says something really smart. You'll probably break the button on your mouse for doing that. So a couple of things. Let's jump right on into this. So we surveyed our list. Charles and I were just talking right before, and I'm like, man, I love catching up with this guy. I definitely got to make sure we do this more often, and let's just talk about what we were going to talk about just here publicly. So we surveyed our email list, our subscribers, and the number one thing that they said is show us traffic diversification. I'm like, great. So Charles is always coming out with new courses. We bought multiple courses of Charles. I don't talk about people unless I've actually bought, used, or worked with them directly. Now, Charles is someone that I met a while back ago. I want to say 4 years ago. It's been a while. It's been a while. I mean, here's the thing that I love about this industry. I hear about this guy. I know he's done really well on ClickBank. I know he's in these publications. He's talked to these other people. Lots of people mention you in masterminds. And then I met Charles. So let me give you, I didn't even tell you I was going to do this. So Charles is one of the most friendly, sincere people I've ever met. Your acronyms sometimes that you use and the stories that you tell, I'm like, I don't know where in the hell this came from, but they're awesome. Now, I'll kind of let you brag about yourself for a little bit, but for me to brag about you is I know you've been a number one, you have in the past been a number one ClickBank affiliate.
Been one of the top 100 affiliates.
I know that you produce multiple digital products.
Yes. I
know that you are the founder of the it's not Digital Marketing Association. I was going to try it.
It's close enough.
No, it's not the right one.
Media Buyers
Association. The way that you set that up, the way that you run that is absolutely amazing. And then I really got to see a presentation that you made at a good friend of mine, Keith Baxter's mastermind, where, man, I couldn't take notes fast enough and the brilliance that was flowing out. So, I mean, you've done lots of paid traffic strategy. You've been around longer than just a couple of years. You're absolutely sincere, and I love your product. So, Charles, I just wanted to bring you on here and talk about Twitter marketing, ask you a bunch of questions, and just appreciate you. You're an amazing individual, and I appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Hey, I got to be good for something today.
So do you mind, I may have missed a couple of things, but do you mind just kind of a really short just bio of your elevator pitch, like what you tell people when they meet you?
Yeah, pretty much. Got a degree in engineering over here, 2 of them. Engineering firms and basically high-paid sweatshops. Very shortly after I got a degree, ended up getting carpal tunnel. Boss goes, hey, could you put the surgery off for about 6 months? I'm like, you can kiss my ass. That's exactly what I said. So I'm like, long story short, driving home, like, my gosh, kid on the way, wife, house, what in the world am I going to do? And I'm like, I'm thinking through all the crap that's going on. I'm like, I need a barn. Well, if I need a barn, other people need a barn. Created a website selling barn plans. First month, we made nothing. Second month, we made about $10,000. And we were like, we were spamming. We were spamming. We're talking 1999.
What were you selling again?
Barn plans, shed plans, how to build a barn in your backyard. Relied on Google. Google, decided they didn't like spammers. My income tanked. Hated SEO after that, almost went bankrupt, and now I only SEO is like used toilet paper. It's valuable to somebody, just not me. I don't want it, don't need it. I'm not in the recycling business. Have fun with the SEO. I want to have paid traffic, because the issue is if you don't control your traffic, you're literally, all somebody has to do is turn on the big knob and go, man, I don't like you anymore. I don't like the fact that your terms of service forgot to mention you were using Google double dark cookies and ban you. I mean, I've been banned. I've been shut down. I have lost more traffic accounts than most people could ever imagine. And it's just like, I mean, that's how it goes. But the reality of it is the only way you're controlling your business is you're the dude, turn the knob. You've got to turn the knob. You've got to have multiple traffic accounts everywhere.
So let's talk about that for just a second, if you don't mind, because the thing that I love talking to you is you've diversified traffic. You've sold lots of different things. I know that you've consulted, you've managed, you've run stuff like the insight, just to appreciate the spend that you have on multiple networks, the insight that you have with friends that you can see inside of highly productive funnels. Like, your background's great, and then how you apply it to different strategies. Let's talk about account closure, because obviously that's an interesting subject for myself, right? You've been there. Yes. Account closure doesn't mean you're a bad person, right? No. You know, you can do everything right today. Can y'all see this before I start going? You could just move that over to the left a little bit, just because the light is, I can see about a quarter of it on the left-hand side. Okay, give me 30 seconds to close the window, and I'll be right back. That's fine. Not a problem. We need to put a soft light. Oh, okay. Hey, Nick, I can fix that actually right now. Hang on 1 second. Nick, that should help, maybe. Find out in a second. Okay. There we go. Okay, I'm back. Let's see. I might have to move this puppy over a little more. That's okay. And let's get to the edge of that. There you go. Anything from the edge of the wall behind your back. So right there where your hand was just now, that's the only part we can't see. Right there is right where your eraser is the only part we can't see. Yep. Okay, we'll figure it out. Okay, this is the deal. When you're dealing with different traffic networks, they've got different terms of service. And what the terms of service, they have the ability to change their terms of service depending on what their investors are saying, what the general public is saying. Give an example. I had a bunch of guys running T-shirts. T-shirts are great. I like T-shirts. Somebody starts targeting an underage girl, 13, sees the name on a T-shirt. It's okay. And then she goes to these different sites, and she sees her name on a T-shirt again and again and again. Freaks out, calls mom. Mom calls your local state senator. Facebook is stalking my daughter. State senator calls up somebody else, and next thing you know, somebody's getting their behind chewed out. Monday morning, Facebook decides, I don't want these T-shirts. You know, it's bad publicity, bad rap. You could be doing something completely fine. You're completely compliant. They can make a change over the weekend based on investors, Wall Street. They can make a change because somebody had a bad day, and you can and you will get banned. I mean, I always tell people it's not if you get banned, it's when you get banned. It's only when. And if this is the problem that we all have, or most of us have, I mean, when you get shut down, the first time I got shut down, I emailed a rep. What's this? I'm sorry. I used the word cheat sheet. Now we're going back probably 4 years maybe. And they were like, oh, you know, that cheat sheet just has such a negative connotation. We can't have that on our platform. Everybody else has it. Sorry, Charles, you're screwed. We had an account, we got it reactivated, but our goal is whenever we're doing anything, anytime a new traffic source starts, they're very open. AdWords at one point, affiliate, Google Cash, you're going to do a direct link to clickbait. You're welcome. Oh my gosh, you need us to help you set the campaign up. And they will end up they get the growth, they get the momentum, and then they usually shed the affiliates. Affiliates are usually the first group of people into any market. When they start shedding those affiliates, they typically start tightening up. Do you have, not that I would ever have multiple Facebook accounts, but if I did have multiple Facebook accounts, I'd be like, screw it, get a new account, get a new account, get a new account. The problem is most people most people are honest. And not that I'm not honest, but most people are honest. They have an account, an ad account, an agency account, a Google Master account. And when things get shut down, they usually get hit. Even though you've done nothing wrong, they just shut you down. They don't care.
that, you're spending money. We don't care. A lot of times you're just a victim. You're a cog in the wheel. You don't have to do anything wrong.
Now, one small part I want to add to this is what I think is really important. I mean, from our own experience and the things I know that you've been through and other clients as well, too, is there can be rules that are put in place that are retroactive, like you mentioned.
Yes.
There can be rules, like, for instance, I have a client right now that's run on Google for 5 years. And all of a sudden Google came in, which you already know, and they're like, we don't like when you collect email addresses. He goes, I haven't changed anything in 5 years. And they go, just because we ran it doesn't mean we endorsed it.
Yes.
And I'm like,
absolutely.
That's really interesting. So with that being said as well, too, is I know the initial shock of people are like, it's not like they're banning you personally. They just ban that website, your business. You just can't use that anymore. But it's not that like you're put in purgatory where you personally can't ever look at it, touch it again.
Yeah.
So, Charles, I am curious because a lot of people I know have been on Facebook. A lot of people have accounts closed down. I know there's a lot of frustration because Google or Facebook, or actually there's 2 points I want to make here. They don't tell you the rules because they don't want you to break them. But if you do break them, they don't tell you why because they don't want you to try to reverse engineer it. Right?
Yes, absolutely.
The other thing that I heard you said that it was brilliant, and I want to expand upon for just a minute before we jump into Twitter, is something that you said early on. I'll never forget this. You had said this because you also released an Apple training as well, too, how to advertise inside of MacBook, right?
Yes.
And I'll never forget where it was, and someone else told me the story, which is like, look, Google was kind of looked at like a park. Imagine you open a brand new park. It's beautiful. Everybody wants to come play, and everybody shows up. All of a sudden, you get these kind of seedy businesses that are a little interesting. Maybe this is the affiliate marketers, and then you get some other of these drug pushers, which is your pimping Viagra, which is really interesting. And these network marketers come in, and these other people, and these other people start making claims, and all of a sudden, they clean the park and they push everybody out. And it's not because they want to make less money. They want to make sure that the park is enjoyable, or that your search results are accurate, or that you're only seeing what you want to see on Facebook and not stuff that you don't want to see. Now, what's interesting is when they do this cleansing, they don't tell you the rules. They cleanse lots of people. Lots of people are left in the wake. So if you've had your Google account shut down or Facebook account shut down, welcome to the club. Charles, as soon as you see something closed, people go through this emotional thing. What's the first thing that you start looking at? Are you like, let me see what other traffic sources there are? Do you say, what can I learn from this? Like, what's the first thing that you go through when as soon as you hear that something's shut down?
I tell you, this is usually it's bad when you've done it enough to you have a procedure to go through. But I'll tell you this: I've got a procedure to go through, and I just want you to know that I'm completely and utterly insane. And most people probably have more common sense than me. So first thing I want to look at is, okay, why? Typically, when we're looking at these things, was it a function of somebody complained? As an example, did the 16-year-old girl issue, or was it a function of maybe the site wasn't correct? Did I not have terms of service, disclaimers? You're using the optimized press lead pages. It doesn't make a difference. It's very easy to forget those little links at the bottom. So we want to make sure, did we violate some issue with, privacy? The second thing, the why was, okay, was this, you can have the right ad to the wrong people. As an example, if you say, Charles, would you like to buy some Victoria's Secret underwear? No, don't think I look good. Probably don't know my size. Just not going to work for me. Where my wife would be like, yeah, give me a size 8 and send me a dozen pair. You can have the right offer, but in front of the wrong audience, you can get a lot of complaints. So that's one thing to look at. Next thing we want to look at is, can I move it to a different source? So, okay, I'm banned. Okay, screw that. I can't get my account back. Or I do the thing, you come back to them, you apologize, you beg, you plead. Screw it. The next thing we want to look at, and I know this is probably what people want to hear, is which computer did I do it from? Which account? Was the account connected to something that's, as an example, I'm not saying lead pages or ClickFunnels or anything like that, but are you using something that would be common to the affiliate marketing world? As an example, if everybody's using these pre-done landing pages that has a certain subdomain, could you get lumped into that? So
now, one quick point with that, Charles, I think you bring up a brilliant point. I was talking to another friend of mine, Telman Knutson. I don't know if you've ever met Telman.
Yes.
Brilliant individual, right? And we were talking about the algorithm, right? And literally the algorithm making all these decisions because there's so many decisions to make that, like, when people get shut down, when this stuff happens, is it usually a human that does it? Or from your experience, is it some kind of process, like you said, caught in the cog, got turned off, have no idea?
You're flagged. So what happened, like in our we didn't realize this, but we were using like one of those shared landing page services. So I had like my domain, media buyer dot insert name of like whatever landing page service you'd like to say. And what was happening when I talked to the rep, they go, well, we find that these pages are most often used by network marketers, internet marketers, and affiliate marketers. So we cast a big net, and you were part of that. We didn't get everybody, but we've got a lot of people that met a certain criteria. And I'm like, well, screw that. I'm legit, And he's like, I'm sorry, Charles. When these things are flagged, they're flagged. We can't do anything about it. So the thing that I want to look at is, okay, if I got screwed with the source, if I take that into AdWords or anywhere else, will that have the same effect? So if Facebook is banning certain like landing page providers or something like that, does that mean that potentially Google is going to follow suit? Am I going to get hit from iAds? Is it Twitter? Is it something that I need to fix? Because honestly, I'm going to run that account again. I'm going to run something again somewhere. So I want to know what did it. Was it like a lack of terms of service? Was it a screw up as far as like, did I have some shared thing that affiliate marketers would have? And the next thing we want to look at is, where can we take this? I mean, that's a big issue that a lot of people kind of really, when we go to the account rep, we're like, hey, this is what we've got. This is our funnel. And sometimes we find out we end up, not that I've been banned before, but if you ever got banned, a lot of times they'll end up taking it, and it's not a case of I can get my account back. There are times they're like, screw you. I had a rep, and one day she just stopped returning my calls.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's going on? And she's like, well, Charles, turns out you're like one of the top 100 affiliates in ClickBank, and we don't feel comfortable working with you. What? It's dumb as dirt. So we want to look at, what can we take from it? The next thing we want to look at is, where can we go? This is the big issue that I think a lot of people, when any traffic source starts out, they have open arms. So what we've done, and I don't know if this is legal or not.
Charles, I'm going to ask you a quick favor. If you wouldn't mind writing a little bit to the, I think it's the left if I look over that way. Okay. There's just a small part that people couldn't see. Because this is the thing that people are really interested on, that I know that people are mailing us, is they're like, okay, you got through this process. Oh my God, what do you do next? So I want to make sure everybody can see this.
Okay. Let me grab a different marker. Give me all of like 30 and a half seconds.
Guys, type any of your questions that you have on the side here. We're going to get right into the Twitter aspect here in just a little bit. I'll bring it up to Charles when he gets back. It's really interesting for me is because I got a ton of Twitter followers, but I don't do a lot of real active engagement. And I know that I could be missing some opportunity there, but the targeting in Twitter is really awesome. So there you go. There's Charles.
Yeah.
Because this is what I'm excited about. Because Charles, I bought your Twitter product originally, and I remember going through some of your advice, and I'm like, oh my goodness, that is beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's come over here, and if not, I'll actually move the camera as we need it. Yep. But this is the thing.
4, 5, and 6 are about on the edge of the screen, just to let you know.
Oh, sweet. I'll switch that over. Good. Okay. This is the thing that a lot of people, when we come to Twitter, and this is where Twitter differs very much from Facebook or from really any other network. We know Facebook has like all this data about you. They logged in, they looked at your message, they looked at what you like, whatever the case may be. My grandmother, my aunt likes Ryan Dice. My aunt doesn't like internet marketing, doesn't know anything about it. Ryan Dice has a book on how to be an author. She wants to be an author, so she's liked Ryan Dice. So now you've got a 64-year-old aunt who has a computer, has a laptop, has never bought anything online, completely terrified, but this Ryan Dice dude, and she doesn't know why he doesn't talk about that more often, she liked his page about how to get a book. Everybody and their mother and their brother is on Facebook. The thing that I like about Twitter is, as a general rule, only your hardcore fans will be on Twitter. Now let's think about this for a minute. If you look at it from a standpoint, and I'm going to just come over here, let's just say that we have a buying universe. Let's say this is a complete buying universe. And let's just say, for this example, it's 5,000 people. You've got 5,000 buyers. Just easy math here. And you've got like this little hardcore thing of maybe 100 buyers who like buy everything you've got. They love you. They think you're the greatest person on earth. Those people will typically follow you to Twitter. They will follow you on Twitter. They're almost, see, your prospects, this is the thing that most people don't understand. How many people think your prospects want to be like you? They don't want to be like you. Your prospects want to be you. That's what, at no given time do they want to be like you. They want to be you. They want to live the lifestyle you have. They want to go to the beach. They want the penthouse apartment. They want everything that you have. And because of that, and there's nothing wrong, I'm glad. Because of that, those hardcore followers will be over here on Twitter. And because internet marketers like, man, you can't make money on Twitter. Screw that. I don't want that. Damn Twitter. Waste of time. Evil. Whatever. Because of that, on Twitter, typically you will get like really hardcore fans. They absolutely want to know what you had for breakfast, how you had it, and where you had it.
That's a good point.
So you end up with better quality people. Now, the interesting thing is when you're in Twitter and you're creating ads, which are very simple, you're in Twitter, you're creating ads, they know who you're interacting with. So our first target we ever put into Twitter is Perry Marshall. The minute you put in Perry Marshall, it doesn't pull up people like Armin Morin, or it doesn't pull up people like Jack. Basically, it pulls up people that are like very hyper targeted, like Dennis Yu. If you're into traffic, you would know Dennis. Anybody else? Who's the Dennis dude? I've never heard of Dennis. Got no name of it. And because of that, like you end up with like if you plug in Perry Marshall, you'll get things like Ad Exchanger, PPC Hero, WordStream. I'm looking at the list over here, by the way. Kissmetrics, AdWords, DoubleClick, Right Media, Marin Software, Outbrain, Power Editor. You get those hyper targeted people that interact with. Because what Twitter does is like, okay, Bob, let's say this is Bob, this is Bob too. Okay, we've got this guy over here. He's interacting with Perry Marshall stuff and everybody else. And the reality of this, Twitter is measuring all this. So they know who you interact with, who you would most likely be the buyer of. So all of a sudden you can build out, you want to build out a list of about 10 million prospects on Twitter? Go ahead, not a problem. Entrepreneur Magazine, Inc. Magazine, they'll start giving you people like Ryan Dice, digital marketer. You can build out these really complicated lists, which is good. So basically you end up with a huge audience. So you got a size advantage. But the problem we have is size isn't everything. So what we can do is we're able to break this down even further, which is you can use, at this point, everything you've learned in Social Media Ad Genius applies to this. You can break it down by male, female. You can break it down age. You can break it down on somebody. If somebody's using an Android, cool. If they're using a iOS, they paid more for the phone and typically are worth more as a lifetime customer. If they're using an iPad, they're worth even more because you go to AT&T, they'll throw one of these in your car, you drive off. You have to pay $400 or $500 for an iPad. So generally, you get a better quality prospect. If they're using a BlackBerry, you typically can feel comfortable. It's a B2B scenario. I mean, most people just don't walk around with, hey, look at the BlackBerry. No. That's like.
That's a great point. Yeah.
It's in the pocket. They don't want to be seen with the BlackBerry. It's untrue.
Do you remember what's the stat of how many people are on mobile phones that access Twitter?
I want to say like 270 million. The numbers go up and down constantly.
And this is the percentage, right?
It's huge. It's huge. And interesting, I can give an example of this. This is one that you're all going to love. Ryan Dice is at Traffic and Conversion. What is the hashtag for Traffic and Conversion?
Is that Traffic and Conversion or TNC? Yeah.
TNC 2013. While he's on stage talking about native ads, because that's what he was doing, I was up here, had my ad running using native ads. And all of a sudden people were like, damn, Charles, it's like you could read my mind.
Can you target that hashtag?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And you can even go a little further. This is the problem. Most people end up targeting hashtags that are like totally relevant. Vote for Bernie. Something great. I like to think about this. Are you familiar with Inbound, which is the big HubSpot convention?
Yeah. Okay.
What happens if we were to target the tag Inbound, and then we would target people who were in a specific location? Oh, I don't know, like where the event was happening. The only people who spent like $5,000 taking their time off for work to get the Inbound, and now they're at a location in a geographic area somewhere in Boston. I don't know about me. I want these people on my list because they have the ability to spend money, and they demonstrated it by being here.
So,
go ahead.
So what's interesting is this Traffic and Conversion, because I love this example. Traffic and Conversion, instead of us buying a booth for $10,000, we retargeted our audience for Social Media Ad Genius for a special mastermind. I also targeted any of the other advertisers. But my advertisement was like this compared to what it could be like this. Now, I spent $1,500, got a ton of clients, walked through the place, people saw me. But I just spent money advertising here. You just told me how to target exactly right here, spend probably a quarter of that number and get, this is really good. Yeah. This is really good.
You know, and give an example like traffic and conversion tickets, it's like $1,000. Okay.
Yeah.
And you could be using anything. I like traffic conversion. I like Ryan. Did a product with him. Great guy. In your hometown, by the way. Let's look at inbound, for example. Have you looked at how much HubSpot costs? It's expensive. It's expensive. It's expensive. I mean, it's like Marketo. Marketo is like this enterprise software. So if you want to use Marketo, you might as well just sell the Porsche and you can buy this stuff. A lot of times we'll target like really, really high-end clients because I know the only people, even like who are going to traffic and conversion, have spent money. They're demonstrating that they are more than I just like, Ryan Dice because he's got a book about how to be an author. So you can basically target hashtags. Now, had I been earlier in my life, we ended up giving an example in Google. There was a show called Britain's Got Talent. And there was some lady on there, I don't remember, she had big curly hair. I wish I could remember her name. But we ended up going into Google. This is like probably 5, 6, probably more, probably about 7 years ago.
The girl from the UK, Sharon. Yes.
So we ended up targeting, we were doing CPA offers, and it says, do you think whatever girl's name should be the next star of Britain's Got Talent? We ended up doing like 17,000 clicks in a couple hours. Based on PPC for like 2 cents a piece. Nobody had ever heard of the girl. And because now because there was no existing search volume, we didn't have a precedent of having to deal with people, like bidding on, Facebook lead generation. It never existed before. The beautiful thing about Twitter is their hashtags a lot of times will have no search volume, take off for the live event. People go crazy with them. A week later, there's no volume for it. So it gives you the ability to go ahead and target, knowing that you can bid a lot of money. You don't have any competition. How many other people are bidding on that hashtag? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, very few people. And the key is, I'm going to just actually kind of break this up. One of the biggest issues that you have with Twitter obviously does have the retargeting aspect. But if you're looking at any traffic source, we need to look at it as, can we add some type of force multiplier to it? Most people end up, and let's just say this is their home site. This is their web domain. And let's go here and say Facebook. Let's come over here and say Twitter. I'm going to put Google display, Google retargeting. I've got YouTube over here. I'm going to come back over here and put Pinterest, Instagram, which works great depending on what you're doing. Instagram over here. I'm going to just put like ad roll, could be anything. Come over here. Let's see, I already got Twitter. And let's just say we've got general display type sites. So this is where most people screw up. They go, Charles, I sent traffic to Twitter and they didn't convert. Okay, well, I'm sorry. This way. We sent traffic to Twitter, it didn't convert. Guess what? Well, you got them on your site. Now you drop the retargeting pixel for Facebook and ad roll and Pinterest and YouTube and Google display. A lot of times you get traffic to your site, and we often think we have this window of conversion that if they don't opt in within 5.5 seconds of joining our list, they saw my site but they didn't opt in. Slackers, they don't know what they're missing. It's their fault. It's theirs, not ours. So what happens is we end up getting this traffic. Let's just say that we've spent, at this point, $1. I'm just making up a number here. We get $1, get somebody to the site. Okay, and then they pop over to, Facebook. Could we all of a sudden have a retargeting ad in here? If they go to YouTube, or if they go into Google, or if they go into Pinterest, Instagram, AdRoll, or any other numerous traffic source, the big thing that a lot of people don't understand is a lot of times we're almost at the point where one traffic source, even though like Facebook or Google can give you a massive amount of traffic, we really need to be using multiple traffic sources, because honestly, at any given time, Google has change of heart. Twitter has a change of heart. Facebook. But if you're dropping all the pixels, if you're doing the correct retargeting, it allows you to come back over here and you can still pick that traffic up somewhere else. But most people, go ahead.
Here's a couple of questions that I have along with this. So I appreciate you drawing this out. So I know some people look at this and they're like, there's a lot of stuff that's really confusing. Now, I know for just a couple of steps personally, I know that number one is I want to get one traffic source performing, and then I start looking at a second, looking at a third, and start diversifying. Now, someone asked a question in here, which is really good, and I'm kind of going to ask you two questions put into one. One guy says, certainly Twitter ads won't be as good as for Facebook's for ROI. And then Patty says, but I ran a Twitter follower campaign and I'm getting around $3 a follower. Now, what's interesting is when we talk about, let's just say ROI or quantifying the followers, if we're following up and retargeting, it's a little bit different. Because I know a lot of marketers and even a lot of clients that come to me and say, I'm looking for someone to click on an ad on Facebook, buy my product, and we're done. And I'm like, it doesn't happen. They have to find multiple different ways, see you multiple different times. How does that ROI look a little bit different? Or is it more targeted people if Patty's getting $3 a follower versus 50 cents a like? Like, what can you kind of talk about that?
Yeah, let's go ahead and jump into that. The first thing we have to understand is, at Patty, what are you selling, by the way? I'm going to say something that's going to probably make a lot of people PO'd. If you can't...
Network marketing and nutrition.
Seriously?
Network marketing and nutrition. Absolutely.
Okay, this is the problem. If you can't afford customer acquisition costs, guess what? You're completely and utterly screwed. Customer acquisition isn't getting cheaper anyway. You're getting more competition from everybody. The question you have to ask yourself is, what do you need to change in your funnel? And this is much harder. The imaginary funnel says, well, I'll just pay less over here, or less over here, or less over here. It's not that. We now have to ask ourselves, what is our customer acquisition cost, and what do we have to build into our funnel to handle that? For a lot of people, all they needed was a $247 product, a $97 upsell, and a $37 a month continuity program. I like it, have one. Problem is, in today's current market, that doesn't cover the customer acquisition cost. Customer acquisition for a lot of things we're looking at $300, $400 to get a person to whip out their credit. We're not talking $7 sales. So don't, they're going to say, Charles, it's dumb to make that for a $7 sale. We're looking at getting, we have to spend a few $100s to get a customer. And guess what? That's how it's going. We've got more competition. The days of the low-hanging fruit, they're still out there, but they're certainly getting harder and harder to find. So the question is, I don't want a follower. I could care less about followers. They have an advantage. If they follow you on Twitter, let's just say we've got a follower. Okay, probably he's on Twitter. He's nowhere else. I want the opt-in. I could care less about the follower. In fact, I am like anti-follower. I want the lead. I want them to fork over their name and their email. It's a much bigger commitment on their part. And when we get that lead, all of a sudden we can take them around the whirlwind. I can say, hey, thank you for opting in. By the way, would you mind, here. Actually, I can't show my screen. Never mind, I was going to show you something.
No, I know. That's the one thing about Blabs that I'm like, I can't.
I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you how you take care of the $3 followers. So first of all, stop doing the followers. You want leads. This is the problem this is the bigger problem that we must address. It's not just about, did I get a follower? We need people to be hardcore raving fans. We have to touch people. I know this is probably going to sound bad, the Michael Jackson style. If you listen to Michael Jackson music, it makes people feel good. People get energized. I mean, who knows? But let's just say that we've got a lead. Let's say that we've got a lead and he comes off Twitter. He is coming off Twitter for TNC 2016. He comes to our site. This is the problem we have to ask. How do we take that lead and how do we multiply it? Where can we add a force multiplier? So Bob comes to the site. Most of us go, hey, Bob, would you please give me your name and email? Bob says, of course, I love your content. Here's an email. Thank you. Wham, bam, we're done. For 30 seconds a day, you're gonna be in his inbox with 328,000 other people that he's going to completely and utterly ignore. The question I have to ask is, if he comes from, he comes to your site, could we, in that welcome email?
Charles?
Yeah.
I'm going to interrupt you for just a second. From right where you have the edge of the circle to where it says E, I'm going to draw just a little square, if you don't mind. I'm going to show you this. If you draw a little square from the bottom of the E to the A, and then up, just about, and then over to the left, just actually go down just a little bit. Sorry. Go down a little bit more, keep going down a little bit more. Yeah, go over to the left now. Draw a line to the left. Right there. That box right there is where your white light is. Okay. So we have a couple of people who are like, oh, hang on a second, because it's really good content. I just wanted to show you that box. That's the only place on the screen where people can't see when you write inside of it.
Perfect. I need to actually see if I'm blocking that window. Windows are evil. Light's evil. Maybe I'm a vampire. Who knows? So we're going to do all that over here. We're going to microsize it. Okay.
Just brilliant stuff, and I don't want anybody to miss this. I love this.
So Bob comes from Twitter. We're paying let's just make math easy. I mean, I like easy math. We're paying $2 to get somebody to the site. So we forked out $2. Our problem is, and he's opted in. So let's just say that we've got a $2 opt-in. I don't know about you, but when I go in my inbox, I'm like, damn it, who are these people taking up room in my inbox? They know I got work and business to do. I can't be sidetracked by somebody's YouTube cat. So what we want to do is, how can we maximize every single transaction, every single moment? Because we're fighting for attention. Yeah. So let's just say that we come to the site, and let's say this is our site right here. He visits the site. Could we possibly remotely ask Bob to, I don't know, let's say he goes back to Facebook. He goes into Facebook and he's like, most people say, hey, would you please give me a like? I like likes. Likes are good. Likes are a great indication. I love likes. I don't really want to pay for them, but I like them. What we end up doing is typically when they visit the site, we at that point know that when you're in sales, the first time you're told no is really when the sale begins. So what we want to do is we want to show them, and can I draw here?
Yeah, that right there is fine.
Well, what I want to do when you visit me in Facebook is have what's called a Start Here page. So, hey, to get the most value out of the Media Buyer Association, click here and learn how to get the most value out of the MBA. When they visit me, the first thing we want to do is click here for a like. Click here to like to get business updates. Next thing we want to do is make sure you watch the Charles Show on YouTube. Click here to subscribe to me on YouTube. Similar to how you got in your right-hand blog column of how you got clicked for the YouTube like. I want a Facebook and a YouTube like. And I'm going to be very, very, very greedy. I also want to get you on iTunes because, and let me put it here now to show y'all. I'll send y'all links to the page in a little bit. I'm just put iTunes here.
Now that third box, just to let you know, is a little out.
Okay.
Not a big deal. I just want to let you know how far it is off camera.
Okay, I'm just going to put I here. Wait a second. I can move.
This whole
technology. Okay, so this is the deal. When do you listen to podcasts?
So for me, it's like when I now have a surround sound in my entire place, which I love. So when I'm cleaning, when I'm doing when I'm doing other work where I'm not working and focusing on work. So driving, riding a bike, working out.
Yes, perfect. So this is the key. What happens, let me just see. I have to learn how to use my phone one day. What happens when people subscribe to your podcast, they're making a verbal commitment that, and as many times as you update your podcast, they're going to get an update inside of iTunes. And generally, they're listening to this as they're doing other things, or, like they're working out. Like I said, they don't listen to it while they're actually working because most people can't listen to me talk and work at the same time. But what happens, you're buying their attention. In this case, we're buying it for just a click. We're getting them to say, I will listen to your content. Now, when they do that, and this is what we tell all our clients, we can show up in the Facebook newsfeed, which is good. Whenever I upload a new video, and if you subscribe to it, now we start popping up inside of your YouTube playlist, which is pretty doggone good. And I can go ahead and get you on iTunes, which means, you have the opportunity now to listen to me uninterrupted for 10, 20, 30, 40 minutes, giving out content. So we're really buying for the attention, but we're not done yet. This is the problem we also have. Do you send text messages, by the way? SMS text messages? What I do,
always bringing these dang good facts into these conversations.
So this is what I do. I need a lot of micro commitments. I need a lot of micro commitments to get the big commitment for you to start giving me a lot of money. So at this point, we got 3 commitments. We're really asking for 3 commitments. On the Start Here page, because remember, maybe they opted in, maybe they didn't. We're also asking for an opt-in. So it's like, hey, would you just mind opting in? We're going to give you what's called a 4X Traffic Maximizer. I totally made the name up, but it is a real product, 4X Traffic Maximizer. Then we go down, and we're getting bigger commitments. But, having a name and email no longer to me is a big commitment. I actually, at that point, step 4, I asked them, would they please opt in for the 4X Traffic Maximizer webinar? And I'll have to show you this process, by the way, offline. Really interesting. So this is like on the start of your page. They saw they visited from Twitter. They saw, then they go to Facebook and they see, hey, you get the most value out of the NBA. You click on the page is the start of your page, has a picture of me talking. Facebook, YouTube, iTunes, 3 commitments. I've got 3 places I want your attention. I just got your opt-in, which now means I have your attention for an email. A webinar is like me and you going on a date. And by the way, really, this is like a whole dating relationship. It's like, hey, you look cute. I like you too. Would you mind? Can I give you a call? Oh, great. Hey, could you email me? Oh, you're cutest thing ever. I love you. Everything you do is perfect. Let's go on a date with the webinar where I'm going to sell you something. And it's going to provide value. Now, what we end up doing, and I'm going to come over here, after step number 4 of the webinar, we also want to give them daily Periscope updates, just because I like hopping on Periscope. So we give them Periscope, step number 4, which is, listen to our Periscope update. Step 5 is the last one for a very particular reason. Would you like to get SMS updates from Charles every Monday? So come Monday, I'm going to send you an SMS update. You just enter in your wonderful little mobile number. I'm going to send you an update, which goes back to a YouTube video. And the minute you watch that YouTube video, I'm like adding you to a retargeting list inside of Google, which means you're actually kind of semi-interested in me. It's like, we've got a connection. It means you're about to buy something. But on step 5, when you enter in your number, I'm taking you to a VSL for a product for $247 or 3 payments. 3 payments or $97. Now, the conversion of this thing is completely and utterly insane. I would love to say I'm a great copywriter, but I'm not. Because I've gotten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, potentially 7 micro commitments from you. Boom, 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 all in one row. This is one single page.
So this is brilliant. I want to go through just a couple of things here because this is really good. And I know people that are on the call or watching us have all different types of level of marketing. So the first thing that I hear you saying, which I think has to be said over and over and over because so many people have gotten spoiled, corrupted, whatever. I didn't hear you say at any part that someone's going to click on a Twitter ad, instantly become a lead, and instantly become a buyer. And I know that can happen. But what we've been saying is you haven't been saying, hey, get as many leads as you can off Twitter. You said have it be one of the contact points to get people into the story that you're telling.
Absolutely. And we want to start like with inbound traffic and conversion, HubSpot, Marketo. Those are you're not buying a $70,000 marketing system. The guy that likes that is not the guy liking AWeber. There's nothing wrong with the AWeber guy. Marketed to the AWeber guy for years. I like AWeber. They banned me. But with that said, we're saying if it's going to cost me, let's just say $3, I'm going to get the highest quality lead with the highest probability. Because one of the things we could do at Twitter is basically the same thing as Facebook. Do they have a house? What is their income? What do they drive? Where do they live? Because most people, if you talk to them, they're targeting everybody in the U.S. I would love to tell you that I get everybody in the U.S. to buy. Typically, we get Florida, Texas, California, and Washington State, and New York City. Chicago. We only want to advertise in these big tech hubs because that's where most of our buyers come from. They don't come from where I live. They typically are from tech heavy places. And because of that, we're not advertising in Kalamazoo. We're not. I mean, it doesn't do me any good. Even if they've got an interest and say, hey, I live in Kalamazoo and I'm interested in media buying, I like, somebody's going to pay me $10,000 a year to join the NBA. It's going to be very, very different. If he's in Kalamazoo, the average income there may be $24,000. If he's in, San Francisco, it's a totally different number. Yeah. So because of that, we try to make sure we only get the best quality leads in the beginning. Most people make the mistake of going for quality. It's like, well, I want quality, but I need quantity as well.
What I hear you saying is getting people into the funnel. Obviously, a follow-up process is critical. Mm-hmm. I love how you said that follow-up email, it's just a part of the equation. Yes. And we have had some people come in and talks about retargeting on YouTube, mm-hmm. or stuff I know that I'm personally testing out. Mm-hmm. So we have the Facebook retargeting for when people see our page. We have Twitter, and then following up with some of the other options you have on your website, which is brilliant, not requiring an email follow-up. What are some of the things that I know a lot of people on here probably haven't yet advertised on Twitter? Mm-hmm. What are some of the things that we all know that these social networks and Google, they kind of parallel each other. What are some of the things that you're seeing as an emerging trend from all of your experience that you really like about Twitter? And then any warnings for people that are coming on Twitter? I mean, you've seen this for years.
Right now, Twitter, if you want to sell an MLM, make money business opportunity, they will probably look the other way for a short amount of time. It's like AdWords was. Well, oh, you're promoting the get paid to, the money gifting system. That's no problem. Oh my gosh, FTC comes here. How dare these people exist? Scammers. So the reality of it is, like, right now, you're an MLM. You will be finding it. The biggest thing that you have to understand, the biggest trend we have right now is the quality of the competition. Interestingly enough, a lot of the really big companies that have been invested heavily into Facebook, heavily into AdWords, they're just really getting into this. And the issue that we have is they don't really understand marketing as we do. So if you're a big company, you've got an IOP, IPO, you've got billions in the bank, or not billions, but let's just say that let's use Marketo for an example. Marketo says, do you have a pulse? Yes. Well, you're target. That's literally a lot of these big companies are throwing in a lot of money trying to get early traction. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And because of that, they've driven up the price even from like 2 years ago when we first started using it. It's driven up the price. But the problem that we have is that's happening across the board. In today's market, it's no longer about, I got a single funnel. Here's my OTO. Here's my back end. End of story. Now it's a function of, can I erase this, by the way? Keep going.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I just wanted to show you where that light part was. This is good. Because I know that your time is valuable, and I scheduled an hour with you, and I'm happy to go over for whatever you have. I just know that by the way, if you guys don't know who Charles is, make sure you follow him here on Twitter. You can check out his website too. He'll give you a link here as well too. The two things that I really want to focus on before we run out of any kind of time, and Charles will let you kind of control the time, is number one, you guys honestly, and I don't just say this just because Charles is on here, like Charles is just a very giving individual. He's super smart, super analytical. You've already noticed some of these anecdotes that he gives out, which is, I'll just never forget. They're just super funny, which I absolutely love. And they're right. But your experience from all the different traffic sources, funnels, the people you've partnered with, it's just unparalleled compared to so many other people. So when Nick and I were talking about who can we talk about diversified traffic sources, I know I'm testing out running some Twitter stuff, and then we got an email from you that you came out with a product. I can't remember. Did you have a product before this one that you did with Twitter? Did you already do another Twitter product? Because I know I learned Twitter tips from you.
I did. There was another product, which I would love to tell you. I knew which one it was. We like every week in the NBA, we're doing a class on something. Yeah. So I think I've covered Twitter like a half a dozen times for the existing members. And this is like the first one we've actually gone out and said, hey, this is actually an individual class. It was also part of the native ads class, I think.
Yes, that's what it was.
And that was a really good one. And that's the deal. A lot of times what we're running into now is prospects are so blind. They see ads every day. With the native ads are more or less kind of like ad camouflage. Your prospects are going, they're coming over here. Let's just say a good example of this is digital marketing. I think they do it better probably than anybody. They're pushing out content, and in that content, opt in, buy the product, join the monthly continuity, buy. But it's really just content for an ad standpoint. The thing that we're looking at in Twitter is our cost, and it's in AdWords, it's in YouTube, it's right now in Pinterest. By the way, if you're not using Pinterest, when it first came out, I had like a dozen accounts. We're getting 10-cent clicks for Pinterest for some of our niche sites.
I'm on that funnel that you were talking about. Yeah.
Wow. So let's go ahead and jump into the funnel. The problem that most people have is if they can't afford traffic, they throw up their hands and they go, well, let me go try to find a cheaper traffic source. And it's not really about a cheaper traffic source. It's about how can we maximize the current value of that traffic source. So I'm going to, let me grab this right here. I think I'll be able to show you this. Well, I was hoping to show you this. But anyway, I was just looking for the actual thing. When people buy from us, basically we send out a thank you card. Yeah. And it's like, hey, this is Charles. I just want to say thank you and congratulations. What we have to look at is most people, they're focused only on their lead gen. It's like, well, how many leads can I get? How much money did I get? It would be much smarter to spend more time going, how can I give my leads, the people that buy, more value? I want to focus on getting that lead to buy. But the next question is, where do you get more value out of it? And getting more value is not sending them an additional email going, hey, Bob, watch my VSL where I'm going to sell you more crap. Bob's already seen it. He knows it exists. We've gotten to the point where we're putting VSLs. Let's stop for a minute. What does every VSL have in common?
Every video sales letter has in common.
From a page layout standpoint.
It's pretty much just a video.
Just a video. We started looking at our Google Analytics. People are hitting the VSL page and bouncing because they know it's I'm going to be sold something. We've actually we start now have the full menu at the top. We're putting VSLs literally inside of the blog post. If you were to look at the page, it looks like a blog post. And it's got banners on the side, and people are consuming it for content to the point where I say, click the button below to buy. Another example of this, in our split testing, if you look at our sidebar, I saw my sidebar on the MBA is on the right-hand side. I'm sorry, on the left-hand side. Where do ads appear in Facebook? The right-hand side. So when they're coming to your blog, it's like, oh, right-hand side, I'm blind to these things. Oh, let me look. Oh, left-hand side, my gosh, I can opt in. Putting the stuff on the left-hand side, we have doubled our conversions day one. Because now, and the blog does look a little wonky. We're using Optimized Press, which I love. But by moving that blog, everything is on the left-hand side here. We're finding if you look at eye tracking studies, people look. The first thing they see is please opt into this. Then they see the content. So we're having to go about disguising our content, putting it in a blog post, making it look a lot more friendly. And by the way, all it takes is 2 clicks in Optimized Press, and you'll move that bar, you will get more opt-ins. So anyway, what we need to look is how can we get more value out of our leads? Because we can't afford traffic by just getting leads. We need those leads to become buyers. So what we want to do is the minute they buy, we're using Office Autopilot. Kirk probably has an affiliate link for it if you don't get it from him, because I think he's using it too and it rocks.
Yeah, it is.
So what we want to do is the minute they buy, I want a postcard to go out, which is very impersonal, but it's a postcard. Hey, this is Charles. I want to just thank you for buying. Congratulations. If you didn't take the upsell, I'm going to send you to a video that says, please take my upsell. And I'm going to send you a hand-signed thank you note. Because now it's like you have your prospect is this, you're elevated from another person that I forgot about, and I'm going to refund in 30 days to, hey, it's a note. When we send these notes out, most of the time we don't even seal the envelope. We take the envelope, like the little flat piece, we stick it into this right here. So it looks, it's a personal letter. It just says, thank you. I just want to say thank you. It's a little card. People love it. We also have a girl named Brenda. Who are most of your buyers, by the way?
Mine, a large percentage are females.
They're females?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, this won't work for you then. We've got a girl named Brenda, has a very raspy, very
sexy voice.
Sexy voice. That's right. I was trying to find a word to say without So she's got this very unique voice, and most of our buyers are male. So even also it's like some dude's like, a woman calling me. Yep, I'm a stud. Yeah, you know how guys are. They're excited, but we've created a positive user experience. Bob's got a postcard. He's got a call from Brenda. He's got a notepad, or at least a note card. But now he's created a very positive experience because we're discovering people are opening the emails less and less and less and less and less. So what we need to do is make sure we can elevate ourselves past just in the email. We can have Brenda call back. Remember, she's already had a communication with them. Did you get your username and password? We don't have anything that you can go download without a username and password because now we can retarget, we can check your frequency. What happens as you're signing, every time you sign into this members area, you get a lead score will basically add points when you don't opt in. So if you go 3 days and you hadn't opted in to your members area and you just bought a product, I want to know why.
Yeah.
So one of the things we look at is, okay, Brenda made the first call and says, hey, would you do something? Just think about this. If she called a guy back, would he be more inclined to at least listen to her? Hey, we've got a special webinar next week with Charles. It's only for buyers only. Here's the number. Dial in at 9 p.m. on Thursday.
Now I can tell you real quick with this. When I was in network marketing very early on, they always said always build for the next event, and that's constantly what I'm seeing you do with your advertising. You're always building to that next event.
Yep.
That other thing is no one ever calls. So I tell people who create products, and I know you do too, I'm like, look, nobody ever does this. You're going to think it's a lot of work. It's the best thing that you can do if you don't have a lot of extra money right now. Is calling your customers and saying, by the way, I have a webinar coming up, because nobody does it.
Yep.
And they'll tell you exactly what they want to buy in the first place as well too. And I'm glad that you're saying this. Like, whether it's you're a female calling a male or calling somebody, period.
It's personal.
Oh,
I mean, you did that. You go past the marketer into the friend zone. And it's one of the reasons we're really big on sending SMS text messages, because only your friends send you text messages. Or Cabela, they send you text messages 24/7. But what happens when this entire thing happens, it just all of a sudden elevates it to a new status. Now, quick question. What is the biggest shopping holiday about to start?
Black Friday.
Black Friday. We just mailed out a thing today, holiday traffic. We told a story about, here, I think I may even have the email in front of me, about grannies fighting at 2 a.m. at Best Buy over the TV. What we've done is, like, we have basically said, okay, the next thing we want to look at is, we don't want to just send him to a webinar. Anybody can send you to a webinar. I want to send you something that I can basically tie in that's relevant, because one of the problems that we have is we all have these beliefs. And getting people to make a purchase is getting them to suspend a belief or to believe something new. So what we're doing is, hey, you know what? Black Friday's coming up, and that's really when most people spend most of their money in Black Friday, Christmas, and then comes, you eat, you drink all the stuff, smoke all the cigarettes, but come January 1st, you're a brand new man. You're going to buy a product on how to make more money, how to lose weight, how to regrow hair, how to have a bigger car, how to have a sexier life, how to improve your sex life. You're going to buy all these products on January 1st to completely and utterly change your life in 30 days. But guess what? You're willing to suspend your disbelief because it's January. So between Black Friday and January, there's this massive opportunity for sales.
Yeah.
You know, all I'm doing is emailing my list going, hey, guess what? There's a massive opportunity for sales. I don't have to change their belief that money is being spent. They know money is being spent. So for me to make a sale is going to be exponentially easier because I've tied it into something that's relevant. A good example, when let's just say Obama wins or Obama won, you know, an email out how Obama won the election, use an email. All of a sudden people, whether you're Democrat, Republican, you didn't vote whatsoever, you're like, oh my gosh, that's cool. I need to check it out. So whether Democrat or Republican wins, I'm going to have an email how somebody won something. And the funny thing is, if you can tie anything in to something that's current events, it becomes so much easier to sell. So go ahead.
Let me give you one tip right here. So I had gone to a mastermind with Brian Moran from Get 10,000 Fans, and a guy that we both know, Andre Chaperone, invited someone from Agora Publishing who has worked there for like 15 years, and Agora is huge. Yes. And I'll tell you the story real quick because this is super relevant. Have you ever heard the story of how they created the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
No.
Agora Publishing does this. It's everything you're saying. It's brilliant. Basically, what they did is a friend of a friend, I guess, of this guy had met the creator, and they're like, how did it happen? And they go, what we would do, him and his business partner, they would meet on a regular basis, and they would start writing down current events. And they would write down a ton of current events, and then they would try to match 4. So there was something in the news about ninjas. There was something going on about turtles. And then teenage, there was some things going on, like some cartoons or something, and then mutants. They formed them together, which now form the movies and everything else. So what Agora does is they may sell the same product 4 times in a year. What they do is they go into these meetings, they list out all these different current events, and they start pulling together. Let's say they're going to sell a training on gold, how to buy gold. What does Michelle Obama, a $10,000 per day shopping spree, going out to the Hamptons in the presidential helicopter have to do about you buying gold? And people are like, I've read about all of these things recently. Yes. It must be highly relevant. Same product, same thing, just tying in 4 stories that relate.
Yes. And it's crazy because, like, it's weird. The more you do this, the easier. Most people, this is how they make the sale. I've got a product that solves your problem. So does toilet paper. But yeah, you don't see people running out going, I need to start toilet paper. What you have is anytime you can throw this into the news, like right now, I've got a buddy who's in the survival niche. Their comment is if Hillary gets elected, their business will double. He guarantees it will double. Yes. He goes, if a Republican gets elected, it's going to probably drop some. He goes, but we'll just tie into the news in Syria or wherever else. You know, somebody's coming to take your guns or wherever, whatever the case may be. And the thing is, if you look around, there's so much opportunity. There's like opportunity everywhere. And the more you do this, all of a sudden you become entertainment. And the problem that quick question, can anybody, we can talk here. Guys, do you want to be entertained or do you want to be educated? Just put that in here. I want to see education and entertained.
And before you give the answer, I'm going to tell you what I saw this weekend that Charles blew my mind. So if you could type in the right-hand side, type in if you want to be educated or entertained. Type in educated or entertained. Now, I went to an event, Charles, this last weekend, where people had paid a lot of money to be there. There were over 300 people in the room, and it was 5 days worth of content, right? One guy went up there and educated, and one guy went up there and told stories of his famous friends and didn't educate. All he did was completely entertain.
Yes.
One person made $18,000. One person made $136,000. Would you like to take a wild guess who did the $136,000?
Entertainment. The key,
that big a difference.
It's huge. And like somebody goes, I want to be edutained. A buddy, I remember listening to Tony Robbins and Personal Power 2, and then he got Get the Edge, and he makes a comment that they use like E3 or E4, which is entertainment and education. The issue is that a lot of times, I don't know about you, but I remember the best teachers told stories, and inside those stories were wrapped up some result. And the more you can wrap those up, the more you can sell. Like our best webinar we've ever had was called T3 Traffic Blueprint. Pretty much it was like 9 stories, wrap up with traffic, and then, by the way, here's 4 things you should know about traffic. Buy. Sales after. I mean, we've never had anything, and it had a big idea. Nothing. Todd Brown's responsible for that one, by the way. And nothing's ever beat that. And what's happening is whenever we've done this time, we've split tested so many things. When we're doing webinars, the prospects are like, I want them to leave the webinar going, damn, that was better than Seinfeld. Charles is good. And it's about really telling all these stories. Like we made a comment earlier. SEOs like use toilet paper. Value. It's something that I truly believe. But when I say that, people repeat it. Where if I just said, man, SEO sucks, everybody says that. SEOs like use we're telling a story and we're wrapping it up. And the key is the more you can keep these things going, the better off you're going to be. I can give an example. When we're doing emails, we're always split testing. The email is pretty much, I've got this, go check it out. We'll get a lot of clicks. If I tell the story, like this is like one of the best emails we ever had. And you have to understand, remember, your prospects don't want to be like you. They want to be you. They absolutely want to be you. I was boiling tea in the microwave because everybody knows I drink lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of tea. And I've got water over here. So I drink a lot of tea. I put water in the microwave it 5 minutes, get sidetracked, boil it again. Basically the microwave blows up. I'm like, damn it, stainless steel microwave, perfectly good microwave, blown up. I don't want to deal with the warranty. So I take it to the landfill, kick it out, watch the glass break, and drive off, never to be seen again. I go to Lowe's, go get, what's the most expensive one you got, because that's always the best, load it up, get it home, plug it up. I tripped the breaker. I just spent like $600 on a microwave. But as I tell that story, we're weaving it in. That's the problem with most marketers. They're not testing. They only assume, and split testing is the key to magic. If I just said, hey, you need to be split testing, I've heard that before. The reality is we're not telling our prospects anything they don't know, anything they haven't heard. We have to wrap it up in a story. And the more stories we can wrap it up in, it really gives them an insight to our life. We make comments like one of the stories, I was out boogie boarding and some dude ran over me. I come up and I'm really mad, kind of PO'd, and I realize that this guy's got one weekend in his entire life or entire year to come to the beach. I do this every day. Now, I didn't come out and say, I get to go to the beach, do what I want to, and kiss my ass. I don't come out and say that. But for the prospect, it's like Charles spends all day at the beach. Even though I don't, I spend part of the day at the beach. But because of that, we've told a story and they have got certain implications. Have you ever seen, quick question, how many pictures do you see of me? Am I always like in the picture? Mm-hmm. I'm usually wearing a Tilly hat, which is about an $80, $90 hat. Yep. People who have Tilly hats recognize it immediately and go, oh, what model is that?
Yeah.
And one of the things we're doing is like whenever you see me around the house, like the molding in the house is like massive. It's like this big, massive molding. I don't come out and say, I'm successful. You see the things around me, and that is your assumption.
That's your
and the key is, and like you, I mean, you were talking about the whole deck earlier. I mean, man, that's rocking. You don't have to come out and say, dude, I'm wealthy, I'm successful. But when people see it, they immediately make that connection.
So
and go ahead.
So I have two quick things because I think this is great. So our friend, which I know you know, Heather Havenwood, she is here. She wants to come out and just say a word about you. And I booked an hour with you, and I appreciate you're going over a little bit, and I want to completely respect your time because the thing is we've talked about diversified traffic Saturdays. I want Heather to come out here and say hello. She wanted to say hello. We'll make it really quick. And then the second thing is I want you to tell people about your Twitter solution because I'm going through it, using it, and I highly encourage other people to do it too. So Heather at least wanted to be able to say hi, so I'll bring Heather out here for just a second. We haven't done a ton of Q&A.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, guys. Oh, my God. I was just finished a blab, and I saw your name, Charles. First of all, guys,
I gotta be good for something.
Charles, I love what you do. You are absolutely amazing. I'm actually going through your entire system right now, by the way. I love you. You're
Sweet.
Great. And, of course, Kurt. I mean, we're down the street.
We're down the street.
Hug. We're hugged down the street. Hug. We're down the street. I just, if anyone's on here and doesn't know who these guys are, these are the masters of advertising online. You really guys, both of you guys are you're my teachers and my dear friends. But I just wanted to come on and I just did a blab. Notice my being the boss is sexy shirt.
I like that. I like the headphones. Forget the small headphones. Size matters. Big headphones.
Yeah, thank you. I gotta
have some headphones.
Kurt, you have big ears. You're good. That's fine. Look at you.
I have big hands too, but that's a whole different other show.
I know. That's not my show. But I don't want to interrupt the flow here, guys, but anyone here is just popping on, and these guys really are the masters of online advertising. I just want to say that. You guys are my mentors. So I'll let you guys go, but I'm going to actually hang out in the background here and listen to what you're doing, and, mwah.
Thank you.
Hey, we have to get up to something. Life is good.
So, by the way, we're going to put this recording. Thanks, Heather. We're going to put this recording back in social media at Genius. And two people have already been asking Charles. So I know this is a blog that people can follow you on and follow you. If you wouldn't mind giving that out. And then I know people want to hear about the Twitter solution. That's why we have you here.
Yeah, absolutely. The easiest way to catch up with me is just go to Media Buyer, BYER, Association.com. The site's completely hideous. You'll be probably repelled by the colors and the images. You'll be like, my gosh, I can't believe this is this site. So just head over there. You probably won't see my picture anywhere on the site. Just because the way we're doing some things. But the reality is head over to the site. We've got a blog. We've got a newsletter. I promise you we'll spam you till you buy or die. What are friends for? So, make sure, I shouldn't say that people really think I spam, but, just head over to Media Buyer Association. We've got tons of content. And guys, check out the Media Buyer Association. But most importantly, and I think if Kurt doesn't have a link, I can generate a link. I will get you a link for the Twitter class. Now, this is the problem. Most of the time when you look at buying a product and it's like, oh my gosh, guess what? There's 8.5 hours. For 8.5 hours, I expect to be able to assemble a car from scratch. I mean, we're living in a 144 character limits. Like, I need it now, need it now, need it now, need it now. Because of that, we've condensed everything you need to know to get started with Twitter without losing your behind right there. I think it's about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours max. I don't think it's overly complicated. And the beauty of this is, think about this. If you're advertising to, let's say your main buyers are males over 40. Could you potentially, maybe advertise to a show called Fast and Loud? In case you don't watch it, it's a car show for guys like me. And it's actually, and I think it's in Dallas. It's filmed in Dallas.
Yeah.
Just imagine that if you're a woman, you want to promote to women. Guess what? There's shows, you find the demographics of the TV show you want to promote, and Twitter will let you target that show. You want to target Say Yes. Anybody here other than me watch Say Yes to the Dress?
You watch Say Yes to the Dress?
I love Say Yes to the Dress. I love it.
It's fun. But quick question. When you're targeting TV shows, because one of the things that you said very early on that I like is you said a higher quality target on Twitter. And I'm thinking, I'm like, well, not as much as Facebook, but if I'm going to hashtag where I'm going to follow somebody, I guess I am committed. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
TV shows, is that because I put in a hashtag about a TV show? They knew I watched a TV show?
Yes.
What is that exactly?
You hashtag the TV show. You've raised your hand and say, I've got an interest. And the minute that happens, everything opens up. So like the key is if there's not a lot of activity like Monday through Thursday, nobody's watching Say Yes. So the rest on Friday for a 1 hour spike, actually Friday afternoons, they have these big marathons. You'll get these massive spikes in traffic where literally you'll get like hundreds of thousands of women going, did you see that Panera dress? I can't believe she liked that. The moms, you know what? You end up getting people with massive traffic spikes.
Wow.
The key is, do those people match your target? I mean, if you're selling anything wedding related, that would be a good target. If you're selling survival stuff, maybe, I don't know, like Dual Survivor, maybe Bear Grylls.
So is it easy for you to put affiliate links? Do you have to have one domain that you mask? Can you use any kind of link?
Anything. At this point, anything.
Really?
Now, when they will change that. I guarantee they will change it. But at this point, as long as it's not evil, you can get away with it. So, and that's the thing. Like in Facebook, we're targeting people who've shown an interest a year ago. In Twitter, we're typically hitting people in the moment they're searching. So we're targeting Bear Grylls. What does Bear Grylls? I guess he's going to be selling a knife or something like that. So the reality of it is you target people in the moment they're searching. And that's really where Google's even going. They call it the moment of truth. It's the zero moment. When, even years ago, we would search something, think about something, kick it around. Now, when we want to search something, whether we're in a subway, we're in a restaurant, click it here. Oh, look at that. We're actively searching. So I
define that as we want to target people who are in process. They are looking at blah, blah, blah in process of. And the TV shows, Bear Grylls, I love watching the survival shows. If I was to see a survival knife come out, or if I was to see some survival tip come out, I'm definitely going to watch it because I'm super interested right now. I mean, especially when you're talking about, I've been at cable for years. Mm-hmm. A lot of the cable channels now, as you said, run marathons. I didn't even think about that. Like I'm putting the dots together that you're talking about, and it's like, this is brilliant, Charles. This is brilliant.
And the beauty of this is, like, a lot of times when we're targeting people, let's just say we're targeting Dual Survivor. When people are looking at that, they are like, it's when we watch TV, same thing with the movie, we want to be transported there. Our focus is where we're focused at. All of a sudden, you're envisioning, you're sitting there with Bear Grylls and you're climbing up the side of a mountain. Whether you've ever climbed a mountain, whether you can even stand up out of the chair, we envision ourselves doing that. And if you're sitting there doing that with a $500 iPad in your lap, you're a prime target. You have the ability to spend money. I can target you based on whether you have credit cards, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, where you live. And all of a sudden, everything opens up because you're hitting people in the moment that they're searching, which is very different from, you're not watching Bear Grylls going to Google going, did you see that mountain he climbed? And that's the big difference. Google, we're actively searching for a solution to the problem. In social media, we're interrupting them, and we need to inject ourselves with relevancy into what they're doing now.
That's really good.
That's the big deal. If you're not relevant, if you say, hey, Charles, are you interested in watching Doctor Who? I love Doctor Who. Never missed a Doctor Who. But if you hit me up at 4 o'clock on a Tuesday afternoon with a Doctor Who ad, I don't know. Yeah, maybe but if you hit me 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. on Saturday while I'm watching Doctor Who, the house could burn down and I would care less. I want to see my Doctor Who. And because of that, I'm sitting here with an iPad, talking to other people because we have a community, a Doctor Who community. Did you see? Oh my gosh, did you see that? Where's the sonic screwdriver? Get rid of those dumb glasses. That's what we're doing. We're interacting with people, and as we interact with those hashtags, now we have the ability to target those prospects in a live moment, which is completely different than anything else we're doing. Because our hashtags change from day to day. You ask me what I'm going to be talking about tomorrow, it's going to be like, could be talking about anything, but I'm in the moment. And that's where we've all missed, even with social media, is our prospect in the moment. And the more we can tag them in the moment, the more we can build the relationship, the faster we can create trust, faster we can close those sales.
What's interesting is and I really appreciate you saying this, is I've been taking a look at, especially the things we've been going on with our, with Facebook, with me personally, outside of our regular consulting. Like we look at different traffic strategies, and Twitter and Pinterest, and I love doing these blabs. I love the numbers that we see here on the blabs, right here, which is absolutely great. But I was talking to somebody, and they were just absolutely amazed. They're like, YouTube's a lot like recording a video of something that happened that you want to share with other people.
Yeah.
And then Facebook is like, hey, look what just happened to me. As I sat down to eat, or I went on this vacation. And Periscope is much more of like, hey, watch what we're doing right now, right? Watch what's actually engaging and going on right now. This blab, obviously, we're engaging with people back and forth as well, too. But what you're saying, really, I didn't even think about this, pares it down to Twitter of targeting exact people that are in process, currently watching a video. Like what starts coming to my mind is sports fanatics, like if there's any kind of affiliate sports products, right? I'm thinking of Shark Tank with our own advertising to hey, want to learn how to advertise your product? Like if you were on Shark Tank or you want to get your product in front of a lot of people. I think this is brilliant. So if I haven't already said so, you guys, if you haven't already done it, Charles has a great Twitter product. And by the way, it's really inexpensive, high value. You'll find out once you go follow Charles, once you go to his website, once you check out the Twitter product here, or you join our social media Ad Genius community, is Charles here's the one thing that I'll say, and I'll kind of get off my soapbox, is, there's people who teach about products and services. There's people who train about products and services but don't use it. Charles, you're fully in the game all the time with your Media Buyers Association. Like when you say, here's what we've tested, I smile because you haven't tested $20 to come up with an opinion. It's been hundreds or thousands in lots of different niches. So you guys, Charles walks the walk. So I buy lots of his products and services. I highly encourage you to do the same thing. Really, the reason we wanted to do this interview was to diversify outside of Facebook. What can we do to diversify? Man, we talked about funnels, your follow-up strategy, hunt report, mailing, and I just want to make sure you guys, if you've just seen a small glimpse, by the way, two things. If you haven't already done so, make sure you follow Charles. Give him a bunch of props or high fives if you learned something here. This is absolutely amazing. The content is just phenomenal. And make sure you click on that Twitter link as well, too. Check out his program.
Absolutely.
Right now, it's great. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. We have about 2 minutes left here with the blab. I know we're half an hour over, and damn, dude, I really appreciate you.
Hey, I got to be good for something. I absolutely got to be good for something. And the reality is, guys, when you're looking at this, Twitter is real-time environment. It's you had the Egyptian spring or dark winter, whatever you like to call it. You've got unrest in the Middle East. All that started because some dude got on Twitter and said, hey, some bad stuff's happening here in the street. And next thing you know, there's an entire uprising. The reality of it is, as kids, we watched, somebody in Tiananmen Square. That was live CNN. Now we're like, it happens on Twitter. Most people now get their news from Facebook and Twitter. And the beauty of that is, if you can tie into it at real time, it's the moment they're searching for it. If I wake up and I got poison ivy, I'm going to go to Google, because I'm actively searching for a solution to the problem. But if you can tie in what you got to the context of what's happening right then and there, everything else becomes easier.
It's interesting. We were being interviewed by the NBA when we were working with the NBA, and they had a sports reporter out there, and they go, what has social media really done? And she goes, let me tell you about Twitter. Because it's interesting. There's certain niches that really use Twitter. Some people don't. But she goes, let me tell you about Twitter. She goes, it used to be, I saw a guy walk out on the court with a limp. I'd have to call my camera guy, the camera crew. We'd schedule it. They'd come out. We'd talk about it a couple hours later. She goes, now I can go out to practice, text right now or tweet right now that I saw a player stumbling out, watch the news at 10 to find out more information. That real process, she goes, can just drive viewership. And I love everything that you're saying about how to target people who are in process, people who are watching this. This is all real time. And Charles, this is really, really, really good stuff. I really appreciate it. This is great.
Hey, I got to be good for something. And the reality of it is, most of us, when we're looking at stuff, we're so conditioned from Google, because that's, Google's the 800-pound gorilla. We're so conditioned from Google to be actively like, well, Bob's not searching for this, so Bob doesn't want to buy it. No, Bob, a lot of times Bob's going to buy stuff he's not even we can develop the problem and the solution in Twitter quickly. We don't get the 1 second sale that we may get in Google, but the reality of it is we have to be smarter. The days of being able to get cheap traffic, they're gone. There's still cheap traffic out there. There's no question about that. But the reality of it is, if you're telling me that your funnel won't support Twitter, or your funnel won't support AdWords, or your funnel won't support YouTube or any of these other networks or Facebook, the problem isn't with the traffic source, because your traffic cost is not going down.
Yeah.
I've never been able to call her up and go, you know what? I want to pay half this price. It's like, I'll tell you. So we can't control the cost of traffic. We can control our funnel. We can control our follow-up. We can control the interaction the prospect has. And then most people make the next thing is they only focus on the lead to sale. The real money is when they bought. That's when they have the ability at that point to spend a lot more money. And I talk to people, hey, are you split testing your upsells? Well, no, I don't want to do that. It's too hard. It's too complicated. I don't know how to use this. I don't know how to use that. My programmer can't do this. And we spend all our time split testing opt-in pages, landing pages, and certainly that is a hinge point that can swing. You double your conversion. You're definitely, getting more leads in. But at the end of the day, when you look at it, you don't make money from doubling conversions. If nobody's buying, doubling the number of people seeing it is not going to help it. We have to look at doubling the sales page, doubling the order page, doubling the opt-ins, doubling the funnel. That's where your real money's made. That's how you can actually go out and, you know what? Maybe if you need to spend $5 per lead, $7 per lead, $10 per lead, you may not have the cash flow to bankroll 10,000 leads at $10 a piece, but could you bankroll just a few leads, getting started, build that momentum, take the money, and grow from there? And this is the key that most everybody screws up. The most expensive lead you'll ever get from any traffic platform is the lead you get on day one, because you have not split tested it. Whatever you got on day one that's the real number. When you split test it, can you get that lead down? On day 2, could you split test? Day 5, could you split test? Can you get that lead down from maybe $10, maybe down to $5? Can you get those leads to go down? Most people look at, I had a bad experience on day 1, man. I don't want to deal with this. This is evil. I don't like this. Hand me back whatever I was using. And the reality of it is, the more you split test, the cheaper you get it. Because the ways we can adjust that is in the opt-in. We can reduce cost per opt-in by getting higher converting pages. And as we optimize through the entire funnel, it also reduces your lead costs through the entire funnel. All of a sudden, your ROI will become greater and greater and greater. But on day 1, it's going to suck. It's absolutely going to suck. It's never getting better on day 1. Day 1 is as worse, I hope, is as bad as it's going to be. It's never getting better until you get to day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, until you're optimizing. It doesn't happen by itself.
So if you don't mind, I may ask this, because I got about 4 minutes and I have to run to a coaching call, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys. Again, if you haven't already done so, make sure you follow Charles. Give him some props on here with the high fives up on here. Check out what he has for his Twitter solution. It's brilliant. But Charles, I'm going to tell a real quick little story, and then and ask you a favor. I'm just going to put you on the spot live. I would love to interview you in the next couple of weeks, one other time just like this, on the psychology of the funnel. And here's what I mean by that. Because you can teach, obviously, Twitter strategies. It's like we didn't go over exactly what buttons to hit here, because they can cover that inside your course. But I'll never forget, I was talking to a guy, actually with Todd Brown's high-level mastermind. I'll never forget this. And I'm talking to this guy, and he goes, Kurt, I've spent $1,000 in the last 90 days on Facebook. And I'm thinking $330 a month, $10 a day. It's not a whole lot of money, right? And I go, okay, well, what's your product price point? And he goes, well, my product is $47. Great. How many did you sell? He's like, I sold 12. And I'm like, roughly you sold $600. So you lost 400. The next thing that I come up with is exactly what you just said. I go, what's your follow-up? He goes, well, I send him a couple emails. And I go, so what happens? Well, I have a coaching program. And I go, okay. He goes, well, my follow-up emails. He goes, my follow-up emails are where I make my money, but that's not my point, Kurt. And I go, okay, hang on a second. Answer the question. Your follow-up emails. You have coaching. Yeah, I know, but I call them and I do some other stuff. And I'm like, your coaching emails. What's your coaching program? He goes, $2,500. I go, how many did you sell those? He goes, 10. And I go, okay. So why did you stop running traffic? I'll never forget this. He goes, because my cost per lead was $5 and I need to get it down to $3. And I go, you just put in 1,000, made 25,000 and $600. Yeah. You're saying you stopped traffic to go from 5 to 3, and everything that you just talked about in here was a follow-up in the process. And it is not just that very first lead to sale. And I would just because it takes some time, you've already kind of covered a little bit. If you don't mind, I'd love to interview you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because everything you just said here was brilliant. We went out a little outside of Twitter, but I hope you guys are following this. Like, thank you. I can't say thank you enough. It's great. Any last parting words? We have a couple of minutes. Like I said, make sure you check out the Twitter solution that Charles has. It's gorgeous. If you're part of social media at Genius, it'll be back in the membership area. But is there anything else that I left off or that you want to cover, Charles? I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. This has been brilliant. It's been great.
I think it's, we could talk for days, and I know you've got to hop off for this other call. So with that said, just remember, nothing's going to work until you get started, until you start spending money, split testing. If you're not split testing, you might as well go to your local interstate, throw some money out on top of the overpass. At least people can stop, get you on video and make your YouTube famous for being crazy. You'd probably get better results. So guys, split test and just get started. And really, that's about it.
That's perfect. So again, Charles, thank you very much for your time. If you're part of social media at Genius, go ahead and we'll put this recording in the back. Otherwise, we're going to pull it off from the public site. If you want to know a little bit more about social media at Genius, Nick, if you wouldn't mind, throw a link in here. You can go to socialmediagenius.com. But definitely make sure you check out Charles. I got pinged over here on the side on Skype a bunch. They're like, you got to do more of these interviews. Interview Charles again, please, 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 please. And man, it's been probably 6 months since we spent this much time together.
No doubt. And next time, I will make sure we cover the window so we can see everything.
It's brilliant. Charles, I'll reach out to you in a little bit after this call, and I really, really, really appreciate it. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you. Have a good one. All right, bye-bye.
I appreciate you. Take care. Thanks, Charles.